Hey friends, and welcome to this new video dedicated to Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. In the last few hours, Mob Entertainment has just released a brand new official image. Over the past few days, we have been witnessing something very interesting, because Mob Entertainment has been publishing a series of New Year countdown images, and every single one of these images seems to hide far more details than what we can see at first glance. So far, we have already seen two of them. The first one showed Doughy the Doughman along with the number 4. The second one was about Catnap with the number 3. Both images were very peculiar, full of small clues and details that we have already saw in the previous videos. And now, we have reached number 2. This time, the main character of the image is Mommy Longlegs, the main mascot of Chapter 2. And this new image, just like the previous ones, hides several interesting details that deserve to be analyzed very carefully. These images are not just simple artworks, but part of a real New Year countdown. And let's remember this important thing. On New Year's Day, Mob Entertainment will release a brand new official artwork. And we already know that it will contain very important secrets related to Chapter 5. So every image in this countdown could be a piece of a much bigger puzzle. In this video, we are going to analyze in detail this third countdown image. We will look at all the hidden secrets, the details that might seem insignificant but could actually tell us much more. And of course, we will connect it with the other images that were previously released, trying to understand if there is a common thread, a hidden message, or maybe a direct tease of what awaits us in Chapter 5. Before we start, as always, remember to leave a like on the video if you enjoy this type of content, because it helps the channel a lot. And if you are not subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you won't miss any news, theories, or updates about Poppy Playtime and everything Mob Entertainment is preparing. That being said, let's jump straight into the analysis of the new countdown image. Now let's take a first overall look at the image. In this new artwork, we can clearly see Mommy Longlegs together with the number 2. From this very first detail alone, we can already start making some really interesting considerations. Mommy Longlegs is in fact the main mascot of Chapter 2, so the presence of the number 2 inches the image is absolutely not random. It is a direct reference to the chapter in which this character was the main mascot. But pay attention, because this number 2 does not have just one meaning. It also indicates that there are exactly 2 days left until New Year's Eve, and therefore we are very close to the release of the final artwork, the one that will contain the most important secrets related to Poppy Playtime. Chapter 5. It is not just a tribute to the past, but also a real temporal signal that brings us closer and closer to the final reveal. The image, moreover, follows exactly the same pattern as the previous artwork images. If we think about it carefully, everything fits perfectly. In the first image, we saw Doughy the Doughman with the number 4, and he is the main mascot of Chapter 4. In the second image, instead, there was Catnap with the number 3, the main mascot of Chapter 3. And now, in a perfectly coherent way, we have Mommy Longlegs with the number 2, the mascot of Chapter 2. This makes us understand that Mob Entertainment is following a very precise structure, almost mathematical, as if it were retracing the history of Poppy Playtime backwards, chapter by chapter, bringing us closer and closer to ground zero. That is, Chapter 5. And it is precisely this repeated pattern that suggests that every image hides something deeper, something that goes beyond the simple number or the character shown. But now let's move on to the most analytical part. I decided to do the same thing as with the previous images, and I increased the brightness of the image, going to lighten the darker areas. And once again, as you can imagine, some really particular details emerged. So at this point is the time for the analysis. Let's go and analyze these details. I increased the brightness of the image even more, and once again very important details emerged. Details that at first glance are completely invisible, but once brought to light completely change the meaning of the artwork. With more light, we can in fact notice the presence of a hand that was previously hidden in the darkness. A hand that almost seems to emerge from the shadows, as if it was deliberately concealed so it wouldn't be noticed immediately. This hand is wearing a bracelet, and if we look closely at it, we can clearly read a number, 1222. And this number, of course, is absolutely not random. Mommy Longlegs is in fact also known as Experiment 1222. So this number is not just a technical reference, but a direct and precise connection to her past inside the Playtime co-laboratories. A detail that further reinforces the idea that Mob Entertainment is placing extremely deliberate clues inside these artworks. We have to remember one fundamental thing. All of these living mascots were originally human beings. And Mommy Long Legs, before becoming what we know today, was a real person. Her name was Marie Payne, and she was the one chosen for experiment 1222. At this point, the presence of this hand with the bracelet takes on a much deeper meaning. This might not simply be a generic hand, but the hand of Marie Payne herself, a direct reference to her human identity, to what she was before being transformed into a mascot. The hand therefore could represent the lost humanity of these creatures. A symbol of the fact that behind every mascot, behind every monster, there was a real person with a life, a name, and a story. And this detail makes the image even more unsettling, because it reminds us how tragic the experiments carried out by Playtime Co. truly were. We can also notice that red stripe that we already saw in the previous images. Once again, this does not seem to be placed there by chance. If we compare this stripe with the ones from the previous artworks, we can see that it connects perfectly, as if it were a single element divided into multiple parts. It is almost as if each image were a piece of a larger puzzle, and only by putting them all together will we be able to see the full picture. But we will talk about this more in the next part of the video, where we will try to visually and symbolically connect all the images together to understand what they are really trying to communicate. Now it's time to connect this image with the other two that we already saw in the previous days. If we take the artwork with Doughy the Dough Man, the one with Catnap, and this latest one with Mommy Long Legs, and we look at them together, something very interesting starts to emerge. If we mentally combine them as if they were pieces of a puzzle, we can see that some graphic elements begin to align almost perfectly. In particular, by putting together the red stripes and the shapes present in the artworks, the silhouette of a symbol becomes clearer and clearer. And that symbol is the poppy. The more we analyze these images together, the more the shape of the poppy symbol becomes evident. This doesn't seem like a coincidence at all, but rather a carefully planned design, intentionally spread across multiple images so it wouldn't be immediately recognizable. And let's remember that the poppy is an extremely important symbol within the Poppy Playtime universe. Not only because the game itself is called Poppy Playtime, but also because poppy flowers appear in key points of the lore. For example, we can see them at the entrance of the secret laboratory, a central and fundamental location for the entire story. This makes the connection even stronger. We're not just talking about an aesthetic reference, but about a narrative symbol, something that represents the origin, the very heart of Playtime Co.'s experiments. The poppy therefore becomes a common thread that connects the past, the present, and the future of the saga. And if these three images form parts of the same symbol, then it's clear that the puzzle is not complete yet. In fact, one final piece is still missing. Now there's only one last image left, the one with the number 1, and following perfectly the pattern that Mob Entertainment is using, this image should feature Huggy Wuggy, the main mascot of Chapter 1. This will probably be the most important image of all, because it won't just complete the countdown, but it could also complete the poppy symbol in its entirety. For this image, however, we'll have to wait until tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching the video until the end. You are amazing. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.